Are you ruining your sales conversations without even realizing it? Do you find yourself relying on yes or no questions to get yourself through your calls? Sales champions from all over the world, listen up. I'm Ian Ross, and this is Vivid Selling. Let me ask you a personal question. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a never-ending game of 20 questions during your sales conversations? You know what? Stop me if you've heard this one before. Your prospect should say yes at least 7 times before asking for the sale. That is the best way to go in for the close. You know what I mean? I'm here to tell you that the power of the yes talk track is not only vastly overestimated, it's actually hurting your ability to close the deal and get the sale. It's about time to try a different approach. Instead of asking those closed off questions, which is what adding a yes or no modifier to the end of a question does, instead there are 2 different approaches that are worth pursuing instead when you are having these conversations with your prospect. Number 1, you ask open-ended questions, and number 2, start using labeling statements. So let's start with those open-ended questions. What the heck am I talking about? Open-ended questions are a powerful tool. They can help you build trust and rapport with your prospects better than almost anything else. By asking questions that start with how, what, or why, you start to show that you are genuinely interested in learning more about their needs and their unique circumstances. But the benefits do not stop there. When you use open-ended questions, you're also encouraging your prospect to elaborate on their thoughts and feelings. This helps you dive deeper into their circumstances and figuring out their problems and issues. So that way you can actually position yourself as the solution to their problem. This can lead to more in-depth conversations and a deeper understanding of their pain points, which is what we're all trying to pursue in sales anyway. Because when you tap into that, you're tapping into their actual motivation to part with money for your product or service. Plus, you can use open-ended questions to help diffuse any tension or just objections that start to come up during the sales process. By asking a question like, what are some of the concerns that you might be feeling about the price? You're now actually acknowledging that they're having concerns before they even bring it up, and give them permission to actually be open and honest with you and not feel forced into a yes or no modifier like right, correct, wouldn't you agree? All of that lame stuff. You get to avoid those modifiers to the end of your questions entirely. Be careful not to bombard your prospect with too many questions at once. You don't want the sales conversation to feel like an FBI interrogation. But when you encourage your prospect to clarify their thoughts, you can ensure that they will actually tell you what's going on with them and what their concerns are with either your product or service or anything else that could be preventing you from making the sale. It helps you ensure that you are on the same page and that you understand their needs and situation. Open-ended questions can also help build credibility and show your authenticity by asking the right thing that gets them to open up a little bit more and talk about what is really going on and could be holding them back from making a decision today. By showing that you are genuinely interested in their situation and finding a solution that works specifically for them, you can build a relationship with your prospect that will lead to not just this sale, but other referrals and many other sales down the line. On the other hand, labeling statements are also a super powerful tool to have in your sales tool belt or arsenal, whatever you want to call it. By acknowledging what your prospect just said with a "it sounds like" or "it feels like" statement, you show that you are truly listening and actually understand their situation. And most people don't realize this, but if you are actually using labeling statements correctly, your prospect feels like they've been given permission to elaborate on what it is they just said in a way that a question actually might not be able to give them. And there's a lot of reasons for this, but one of the big ones is people feel the need to either correct when something was wrong or to confirm a statement that they believe wholeheartedly. So when you say, "it sounds like there's something that might be holding you back," they are going to be more encouraged to tell you if there really is something holding them back, or to correct you and go, no, there's nothing that's holding me back. I'd be willing to move forward if the price works, right? And then you can go, if the price works, and start moving on and getting deeper commitment from there. So the same way you could ask an open-ended question about the price, you can also use a labeling statement about it. So if I were to say, "it feels like you're concerned about the price," you acknowledge that concern and give the prospect permission to open up and tell you what's actually holding them back, if there's anything at all. And by restating what the prospect just said in your own words, you can help ensure that you're on the same page and you actually do understand what it is that they are trying to tell you. And so once you're seated on your throne as the trusted advisor and expert in your field, and you will be put on that throne if you use labeling statements and open-ended questions appropriately. Now you're going to start taking home money that you never thought you could before. And though I use them a lot in my own sales conversations, and I do mean a lot, be careful not to overuse labeling statements even more than being aware of overusing open-ended questions, because you really can't do too many open-ended questions as long as it doesn't come off as an interrogation. But if you're only making labeling statements, it will feel weird to your prospect. They will tell that something a little off is going on, and you do not want that. You can start to come off as insincere and defeat the entire purpose of using labeling statements in the first place, which is building that trust and solidifying that rapport. So if you want to up your closing ratio and start making the type of money that you know you should be making as a salesperson, you need to get off this stupid always get a yes mindset. You're shooting yourself in the foot if you always end your statements with right, because your prospects aren't as clueless as you think. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, all that jazz. Go ahead and share this video with your sales team and other sales professionals that you know that you want to do better than they are right now. And remember to subscribe to Vivid Selling for more sales strategies, tips, and tricks. Until next time, keep pushing yourself. And remember to always focus on providing value and understanding your prospects' needs. That's way more important than getting them to say yes 7 times. Wouldn't you agree? Now, go crush it already.